Emma here again. I'm going to talk about something that is on my mind, definitely on my mind this week, because it stopped me from doing something. I had a door slammed in my face. I'm going to talk to you about flexible working. But before we talk about flex, I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to talk to you about flexible living, because I don't like the term flexible working. I like the term flexible living. Now, just to clarify what we mean by flexible working, it's not just job sharing. It can be working part-time, it can be working compressed hours, it can be working staggered hours. And not very many people in education work flexibly, or not as many as they could. And it can be very discouraging for people to climb the ladder if they think they haven't got opportunities to work flexibly. And people often ask me, why should we work flexibly in education? And my answer, you might want me to quote loads of facts and figures and loads of resources and cite loads of research. But my answer to why should we work flexibly is, why not? Why not work flexibly in education? Because society, wider society, is changing. Very few people now work a 9 to 5. We work shifts, we work extended hours, we have a 24-hour culture, we have schools that do wraparound care to enable other people to work flexibly, but not necessarily educationalists. So when people ask for flexible working arrangements to flex their living, what we need to recognise as leaders, first of all, is that those people are normally asking for flexible arrangements because they already have a ton on their plate. They are either caring for children, they may have their own health challenges, or a partner, a spouse with a health challenge. And we need to recognise as leaders that we employ people. People are messy, people have lives, people are all different. So actually, people coming with a flexible working request are already juggling a hell of a lot. That's the first thing we need to recognise as leaders. And now I'm going to tell you some numbers. I want the numbers to sink in. 8.6, 13. First pair of numbers. 26.4, 42. That's the next pair of numbers. 8.6 is the percentage of men who work flexibly in education compared to 13% in other areas of work in the UK. 26.4 is the percentage of women who work flexibly in education compared to 42% of women outside of education. The education system has a massive way to go in encouraging more people to work flexibly to reflect the wider world of work. And it's nothing new. I have worked flexibly in education for over 15 years now, as a class teacher, as a senior leader in school, as a head teacher or co-head teacher, and now as a CPD and research lead across a trust. It is nothing new and it can be done. But what we don't want to do is have what we call rigid flexibility, having a one-size-fits-all way of doing flex. It's actually all about communication. And if you think about the old flexi phone cords, what do you have at the end of each end of the cord? You have somebody listening and somebody speaking. So actually setting up flexible working arrangements are all about communication and listening to what people want and what the organisation needs. And then I started thinking about COVID and coronavirus and lockdown and what it can teach us. What it can teach us at the moment is that all these people who think they're working flexibly at home, that is not flexible working. That is definitely not flexible working. Flexible working has sector-changing potential when it's championed, when the leaders have the vision and the confidence to do it, and not just be confined by outdated historical challenges about the infrastructure. At the moment, people trying to work with kids running around their feet and no proper tech system set up and no kind of set working hours, that's not flexible working. So the danger is that we think at the moment that we're working flexibly, we're not. What flexible working does is it retains talent and it provides elasticity as well. If you've got 3 or 4 people working flexibly in your organisation, they can step up and step down as and when the organisation needs them to. Just like my colleague and I, when we had 5 babies in 5 years between us in the co-headship, we upped and downed our days depending on who needed to be in. So there's no one-size-fits-all with flexible working. If there's a one-size-fits-all in your organisation, that's not flexibility, that's rigidity. So every single case needs to be judged on a case-by-case basis. And the reason we need more people working flexibly in education is to enable more people to work flexibly in leadership. Because if the only person who can lead is a person who can work 5 days a week, you've not got a diverse range of voices within the leadership narrative. You've got to have the broadest range of voices to reflect the communities that we serve. Now, lockdown has shown us that this is possible. It's shown us that nothing's impossible. Everything we thought about schools and organisations has been chucked out the window at 3 days' notice. We can change. And it's not, some people think that flexible working is risky. It becomes like a little bit of a house of cards. But actually, if done really, really well, it's not a house of cards. It's an absolutely winning hand for the organisation, because you retain your talent, you build an elasticity, because flexible working is not forever. You can change your contracts, you can up your days, down your days, change your roles, do whatever. And it's also, in lockdown, taught leaders a hell of a lot about how difficult it is to work remotely and how annoying it is to be contacted on your days off or at the points where you're not working, which is what happens constantly to people who, like me, who are part-time workers. So it's taught leaders a lot about there is no need for knee-jerk emails constantly. It is impossible to work and to get emails back to people at a moment's notice when you're already dealing with the busyness of your life. But what it has done as well, the lockdown, is immerse people in digital CPD. We have a profession now completely immersed in digital CPD, which provides massive, massive potential for developing flexible working practices, and we need to capitalise on that. There's a potential for an online revolution and a flexible working revolution. There's also been an increase in trust. The trust that goes on because our leaders can't see what we're doing when we're working from home in a lockdown, but actually, funnily enough, the work's all still got done because we are a profession of professionals who can be trusted to get our work done. We don't necessarily need to be on site for everything. It still gets done. So we have a potential digital revolution, a potential flexible revolution, the opportunity to provide elasticity and innovation within the profession. So I would say to you, what's on my mind is let's get flexy.